We had a fairly important passing away in the world of sports last week, Rob.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you got to help me out.
The Iron Sheik.
Oh, I did hear that. Late,
Yep.
like on Friday.
Yeah, Thursday or Friday.
He and Nikolai Volkov. Hey,
Yeah, of course.
In the mid '80s,
Yeah.
doing their sort of you got the Middle Eastern guy and the Russian guy.
Ayatollah. And the, Hulk Hogan. I kick your ass.
And got the Paisley stuff going for him there. Yeah, the Iron Sheik.
Had a second life online. There was some guys that helped him run a Twitter account that was basically just like he'd take a quote or a song lyric or whatever and just turn it into like, in good times and bad, go fuck yourself. Or
Yeah, I think the final thing he put out was "fuck the wildfires."
yes, exactly. And who can't relate to that?
100%, man.
The Iron Sheik, though, I'll just dive in quickly.
The camel clutch.
Yep. The guy who helped kick off Hulkamania. That's who Hulk Hogan beat in January 1984 to win the championship for the first time.
Or the Iron Sheik was the champion.
He was the champion. Now he's
like from Toronto or something, isn't he?
I think he's from Iran. And then settled in Toronto, I believe.
But I think he came through like Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Yeah, for a long time he did work in Toronto. He traveled around though, as was you used to do the territories and whatever. But one of the ways that you have to, if you're thinking about booking a professional sport, right, writing what you hope people will believe is a sport, Bob Backlund had been the champion from 78 to 83. And he was the most popular guy in that New York territory, that kind of early stage WWF. And you don't want Hulk Hogan to come in and beat him because now you have two good guys, right? Will people turn on Hogan for beating your longtime hero?
Thunderlips.
So you have what you call a transitional champion, a bad guy that wins the title from Backlund in dastardly fashion.
Must have been a backdoor job.
And that happened in November or December of 83. And then in January of 84, Hogan is now the conquering hero there to avenge Bob Backlund, right?
Real
It's
American.
a little storytelling. So anyway, just interesting that he is the bad guy that kicks off that whole Hulkamania All-American thing that basically lasted the rest of the 80s, man.
See, and I give you lots of shots about the wrestling thing. Mm-hmm. But sort of between 11 and, 14, 15, like if I was taking the bus, so my mom lived in Ottawa, my dad and I lived in Peterborough.
Right.
And I'd be taking the bus back up and down the 7. And I would often grab a magazine, and you could get wrestling magazines.
Yep.
And they would have all the rankings.
Sure.
And, from the different circuits. Like there was still all these
territories. Yep.
Yeah. And so you're sort of going back and you're like, bah, like I don't know who these Von Erich guys are, but if they're not in the WWF, they're not legit.
Right.
Right. And so, yeah.
Because that's the TV we got here. We didn't get
of course.
the Minnesota territory or the Texas territory with the Von Erichs.
Or the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Right. Big in the Carolinas. And so
that's right, man.
You had, because Kurt Hennig was down there. Like there was all these people that came from those places. Right. And so anyways, you're better with me with the 80s wrestling.
That era, yeah.
For sure you are, right? Yeah. In terms of what's gonna really work. Because that whole Maple Leaf Wrestling and some Stampede Wrestling, like a bit of those too.
Sure.
Right? Abdullah the Butcher and Dino Bravo and all that. Like that to me is when Roddy Piper was there.
Fucking
like that
right, man.
That to me is sort of when I was like, woo, I don't know what this is all about.
And every whether it's a comic book or a movie or a TV show, whatever, every hero needs a villain. And the Iron Sheik was Hulk Hogan's first villain. So.
Well, and like I said, when he teamed up with, they were briefly the tag team champions as these sort of, these enemies of the state, or I can't remember what they were called.
And he circles back around in like 90-91 when Kuwait and the first Gulf War are going on. It's like, he's not from Iraq. Yeah, well, it's close enough. Let's get him back in. The whole country is feeling xenophobic right now.
He's wearing that Yasser Arafat hat,
Let's get an Arab or two out here to hate.
People do. Hey, man, if you're expecting most Americans to know the difference.
That was his whole point. Like someone, as
that guy's from Bahrain. That guy's, come on, man.
There was a Persian guy on Twitter who put up a thing that He's like, the Iron Sheik, everybody's putting these tributes on Twitter. He's like, the Iron Sheik taught me at a very young age how to make Americans hate me. You're like, okay, I guess that's useful information. But I guess it's a matter of perspective, right? Like that guy, to some Arab Americans or just Arabs, was one of the only representatives on TV. Now, yes, he was playing a villain, but there he was in popular culture, and maybe they related to him. I have no idea.
Well, I like he had the boots with the little curled toe,
of course,
like Aladdin. I guess something you're going to
anything you could do to make it more stereotypical.
Well, and if you thought he was from Iran,
yeah.
Well, and Iranians don't even see themselves as Arabs.
No.
They're not Arabs.
Persians. But like I said, he's close enough.
I know. I know. And
as far as
it's just one of those,
we know.
Yeah. And that's how far the world has come in 40 years, people.
Has it, though?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I left that open, like you can figure that out or not.
Yeah.